Hey guys, got a new project underhand. Got something I'm going to attempt to do. Don't know how it's going to turn out, but we'll see. I've got a tree around behind the shed here, and it's kind of rotten. And I really don't have any way to get up it to get a rope in there. But there is a section on the tree where there's a little branch sticking out that's broke off. And, you know, trying to throw something up there or put something up there with a pole just don't seem to be working. So I decided I'm going to conjure up something that I can shoot a string line up there, and then I can pull my rope up there. So what I wanted to do is something with a .22 caliber design. So I took this old Ramset gun right here, and I've disassembled it. Basically, the way it works is you put your .22 shell in there, cartridge in there, and put your Ramset nail in there, and when you push it down on something and pull the trigger, it fires a .22 round shot and shoots the thing in there and sets it. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new barrel for this to go in here that will take the .22 caliber shell. Anyhow, that's going to be the project. And I don't see where it's going to be necessary to make this thing out of any kind of special steel or anything like that, because it's something that I'm probably just going to use one time. I've got some just some steel here, chunk of steel here that I'm going to make the barrel out of. It's nothing special about it, it's just cold roll steel. I'm going to bore a hole in it to accept the .22 caliber cartridge, and then we're going to machine it down so that it will fit and take the place of this right here. And then we'll figure out a way to get it in there where it'll have the thing cocked where it will actually fire the shell. So I've started by disassembling the gun and taking some measurements, and basically pretty much have got all the measurements that I need, and I got a little loosely sketched out idea of the direction that I'm going to head with this thing. And the first thing, of course, I've got to do is get the hole bored down through the center of this thing. The way it's going to work is the device that's going to be the projectile is going to be on the other end of the barrel, and the cartridge that's going to power it is going to be on the opposite end of the barrel. So we're going to have something on here like this. The cartridge is going to be over here, and when this ignites, the gas buildup is going to project this and hopefully launch it high enough that I can get it over that limb out there. And as it's going through the air, it's going to tote a string line with it. And then that string line is going to be tied to my rope. And I'm going to pull the rope up, and we're going to kind of go from there. So I've got this long bit that I'm going to use to bore it. But before I start boring it with this, we're going to face off both sides. We're going to center drill both ends. And then we're going to start drilling with a smaller, shorter bit, because when you start drilling with these long bits, they flex and they will go off kilter on you. And it's not going to be that critical, like I said, with this, because basically all the bore is going to be doing in this thing is carrying the charge. It's not going to be carrying the projectile. So we really don't have to worry about it being dead nut straight. So anyway, at least I don't feel like it's that, you know, that big of a concern. Whether this is going to work or not, you know, I won't know till I pull the trigger, right? And you know, get a string on there or whatever. And I'll probably do a couple test fires with no projectile on it, just to make sure it's going to fire the cartridge, and then I'll put the projectile on it, maybe set it up in a vise or something, and fire it from across the road in case it blows up. No, it's not going to blow up. It should be fine. You're only talking about 22 caliber, and if I use a 22 short style, you're not talking about that much pressure. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up here and start turning, and hopefully we can get this thing, get everything underway. Everything's going here. Okay, so right now I've got this thing running probably within about 1,000ths, and that's good enough for where we're at. I got the center drilled on one end and one end faced off already, and I could take it out and flip it around and do the other end, but I'm just going to go ahead and start boring now. So I'm going to start with a short drill, and we're going to drill in as far as we can with that, and then we'll start going with the longer drill, and hopefully the longer drill will get us all the way through right there with that. I do want it to be relatively straight, so you know, we're just going to kind of go slow with it. It's going to take a little while to get this hole drilled. It's just going to be, it is what it is. The drill that I'm using right now is a brand new drill, cutting very nice. As long as I keep it glued and clean, it should cut really straight. And that will help to guide the longer bit as it's traveling through to maintain the integrity of the hole and straightness of the hole. I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. I'm not going to bore you with the entire procedure of boring this hole out, but you kind of get the idea. Basically, we're going to drill in so far with the small bit, then we're going to come back with this longer bit right here. We're going to go ahead and proceed on with the procedure and drill on through this thing completely and out the other side. Hopefully, by the time we get this far in with this bit, we'll have it's straight enough that this first part will basically act as a guide to keep this thing straight, because when you've got these long bits, man, they will turn on you, and the next thing you know, you're if you was drilling with this motorized and this steel, you'd be coming out the side over here. But since this is turning and this is steel, you'll probably end up breaking the bit off, basically, and then you got to throw the work away because you ain't gonna never get that bit out of there. I can tell you that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead on with drilling this out. I'm not going to do that on the video here because it's going to be boring. I'm boring a hole, and it's going to be boring if you sit here and watch the whole thing. So be back in a flash.